This quiet kind of courage and love, the kind that doesn't shout, doesn't boast, it simply exists unwavering. Today, I want to talk about someone who makes that courage worth every heartbeat, every risk, every leap into the unknown. My future wife. I'd risk everything just to be with you. And in these few moments, I want to share why loving you feels like stepping into the most beautiful adventure of my life, one I never want to end. There's a silence that exists before something important, a quiet before the storm, the calm that carries weight because it holds anticipation. And in that calm, I find myself thinking of you. I think of the way the world seems sharper, more vibrant, more alive whenever you are near, and how even the simplest of moments, like the light of the morning hitting your hair or the sound of your laughter, reminds me that life is worth more because you exist in it. I want you to understand deeply that what I feel for you is not fleeting or conditional. It is a gravity that pulls me constantly towards you, a force I cannot ignore, a certainty that even in the chaos and uncertainty of everything else, I know you are the place where I am most at home. I imagine a future in fragments sometimes, fleeting visions of what could be, and in every vision you are there, not just present, but essential, the axis around which everything else revolves. Love like this is not a quiet convenience. It is not something that rests easily. It demands courage, patience, vulnerability, honesty, and bravery. It requires standing in front of the world with your heart exposed and knowing that even if the world does not understand, even if the wind knocks you off your feet, there is a reason to stand and fight for what matters most. And what matters most is you. Every decision I've ever made that was bold or reckless, I realize now was a prelude, a preparation, an understanding that if the moment came when I could risk everything for you, I would. And I would do it without hesitation because the alternative is incomprehensible. I would risk the comforts of certainty, the ease of life without stakes, the simple path of safety because you are worth the unknown, worth the challenge, worth every ounce of fear that comes from giving your all to something that cannot be measured or weighed. My life has been a series of small, careful steps, but love has a way of shattering caution, of opening the mind and heart to possibilities that logic alone cannot explain. And when I consider you, I see the wildest, most profound possibility of all. That love in its truest form is not a question of convenience or timing, but of conviction, of being willing to walk through fire, to face storms, to stand alone if necessary, because you are the one I choose again and again, even when the cost is everything. In your eyes, I find clarity, the kind that pierces through doubt and fear and leaves only truth. And that truth is that to be with you, to share life, to witness your joys and comfort your sorrows, to simply exist in the orbit of your spirit, is not something I take lightly. It is a vow made silently in the deepest part of my being, a vow that defies logic and fears alike. Love, as I have come to understand it with you, is not measured by grand gestures or fleeting words. It is measured by the willingness to step into uncertainty, to embrace risk, to confront the unknown not as a threat, but as an opportunity to be with the one who matters more than anything else. And every heartbeat, every thought, every fiber of my being whispers that I am willing, that I am ready, that no obstacle, no distance, no fear can prevent me from seeking you, from holding you, from building a life together that honors the rare and extraordinary thing that we have found. There is a humility in understanding how precious love is, and yet alongside that humility is an audacity, a courage that rises because the heart recognizes what the mind cannot always explain. I would risk everything for you because in the equation of my life, in the balance of all that has ever mattered, you are the constant, the center, the reason that I step forward even when the path is unclear. I have imagined countless scenarios in which the world conspires against us, circumstances shift, and challenges rise. And in each one, I am forced to ask myself what I am willing to surrender, what I am willing to leave behind, and every time the answer is the same. Nothing that diminishes my love for you, nothing that keeps me from being with you. To love you is to understand the gravity of connection, the kind that reshapes the landscape of one's life, the kind that teaches patience, humility, and relentless devotion. And though words falter, though time stretches and tests us, I want you to know that every choice I make, every risk I take, every step into the unknown is an offering to you, a testament to a love that refuses to be quiet, refuses to be small, refuses to settle for anything less than the entirety of our hearts intertwined. Even when fear whispers doubt, even when the world presses down with expectation or uncertainty, the clarity of loving you shines through, unwavering, undeniable, an eternal compass pointing toward you, guiding every thought, every action, every breath I take. I cannot promise perfection. I cannot promise life without difficulty, but I can promise this, that my heart, my mind, my very being is yours to the degree that I would walk through any storm, climb any mountain, face any consequence, and risk every comfort, every certainty, every security just to ensure that I am by your side. Because when it comes to you, my future wife, there is no measure too great, no sacrifice too daunting, no risk too frightening. Every moment spent away from you is a lesson in how necessary your presence is. And every heartbeat reminds me that the path to you, no matter how uncertain, is the one I choose, the one I embrace, the one I will follow relentlessly. The depth of this love cannot be quantified, cannot be contained, cannot be restrained. It is a force that moves quietly but powerfully, shaping my world, guiding my steps, and demanding action even when the consequences loom. To risk everything is not reckless when it is done for love. For a love like this, a love that knows no bounds, a love that transforms life itself into something extraordinary. And in that transformation, I see not only the beauty of what we share, but the responsibility, the gravity, the profound honor of being entrusted with your heart. It is a gift unlike any other, one that I do not take lightly, and it fuels a courage in me I never knew existed. Every sunrise becomes a reminder that life is finite, fleeting, and precious, and every thought of losing you is unbearable. I would cross oceans, defy obstacles, challenge fate itself just to be near you, to hear your voice, to feel the warmth of your hand in mine. Love is an adventure, and the risk is inherent, but the reward is everything. And you, my future wife, are the reward beyond measure, the reason, the anchor, and the horizon all at once. And so I carry this truth with me always, that to love you fully is to embrace risk, to accept vulnerability, to confront fear, and to do so willingly, without hesitation, because nothing in this world, nothing in the expanse of experience, nothing in the vastness of what life might offer could ever outweigh the certainty of my devotion to you, the certainty that I would risk everything just to be with you. Every moment I have spent with you has been a revelation, a quiet illumination of what life is capable of when it is shared with someone whose presence feels like gravity, pulling all the fragmented pieces of the world into alignment. I remember the first time I truly noticed the way you exist, not just as a person moving through space, but as a force that reshapes the air, the light, the energy around you. In the mundane, the everyday, there is a vibrancy that I had never experienced before because you bring attention to the details that often go unnoticed. The curve of a smile, the subtle shift in tone when you are excited, the way your eyes reflect the light that is entirely your own. And it is in these small, seemingly ordinary fragments that I understood something extraordinary. That love is not always about grand declarations or sweeping gestures, but about noticing, appreciating, and valuing the essence of someone so completely that even the smallest acts of their existence matter profoundly. I have watched you face challenges with a quiet strength, a resilience that humbles me, that teaches me that courage is not always loud, and that heroism does not always arrive in dramatic moments. And I have felt in those shared experiences that my life has been irrevocably altered by simply witnessing your existence, by being near you, by having the privilege of your time, your attention, your care. There is a clarity that comes with recognizing that someone is your everything. A clarity that strips away distraction and fear, leaving only truths. And that truth is that I cannot imagine a life that is complete without you. That I cannot imagine experiencing the full spectrum of joy, grief, triumph, and quiet reflection without your presence beside me. Every conversation we have had, every laugh shared, every silence held in comfort has built a foundation of understanding, intimacy, and trust that I never knew was possible. And it is on this foundation that my love has grown unwavering and expansive. I think about the moments when the world feels heavy, when uncertainty looms, and yet your presence turns weight into possibility, fear into courage, hesitation into action. You have become the mirror in which I see my own best self reflected and the horizon toward which I strive. The inspiration to confront life's challenges, to reach beyond what I thought was possible, to aspire to a higher version of myself, simply because you are there to witness, to encourage, to love. And it is in these moments that I realize the depth of my devotion, the magnitude of what it means to truly see someone, to understand them, to care for them with a willingness to surrender ego, pride, and fear. Each gesture of yours, each shared experience, each unspoken connection has layered into a tapestry that is vivid and alive. A tapestry I never want to stop weaving. A tapestry that makes me certain that no risk is too great, no uncertainty too frightening when it leads me closer to you. I think of the countless ways life tests us, the unexpected twists, the sudden changes, the moments of doubt or exhaustion, and I recognize that it is in the company of someone like you that these tests become bearable, even transformative, because love like ours is a shield, a compass, and a light in moments of darkness. And as I reflect on these moments, I understand more deeply that my life has been preparing for you in subtle, often unnoticed ways. The paths I have taken, the lessons I have learned, the choices I have made, all of them converging toward the inevitability of you. To love someone completely is not a casual declaration. It is a commitment to presence, to awareness, to participation in every facet of their life, to walking beside them through triumphs and setbacks alike, to celebrating them and supporting them in ways that require sacrifice and courage. And I want you to know that these moments, the quiet ones, the chaotic ones, the ones that seem insignificant to the world, have shown me that you are my everything, that every heartbeat, every thought, every action is enriched because of you, that the world itself feels more meaningful, more vibrant, more alive because you are in it. I have felt in your gaze the profound acknowledgement of connection, the recognition that love is not just a feeling, but a force that shapes choices, perspectives, and the very course of life. And I am here to embrace that force fully, to let it guide me, to surrender to it, knowing that the risk, the uncertainty, the vulnerability is nothing compared to the reward of being with you, of witnessing your joy, of sharing your life, of building a reality in which our love is not just endured, but celebrated, honored, and lived in every possible way. I reflect on the countless small gestures that have revealed your heart to me, the way you notice details, the way you laugh even in difficulty, the way you extend compassion, the way you hold space for others while never losing sight of yourself. And I am humbled by the person you are, the human you continue to become, the presence that transforms ordinary days into extraordinary ones. And as I think about all of this, I realize that loving you has taught me patience, resilience, audacity, and humility simultaneously. That it has expanded the bounds of what I thought I could feel, endure, or aspire to. It has made life feel richer, more dangerous in the best sense, more meaningful in every dimension. And I want to dedicate myself entirely to this love, to this journey, to you, knowing that the risks are real, the stakes are high, but the reward is incomparable, eternal in a way that transcends time, circumstance, and fear, because it is built on the rarest and most extraordinary foundation of all, the truth of us, the depth of connection, the certainty that I have found my other half, my equal, my inspiration, my future, my reason for choosing courage over comfort, risk over hesitation, love over indifference every single day of my life. There is a kind of magic in simply being near you. The way your presence transforms ordinary spaces into places of meaning, where light falls differently, where sounds carry a rhythm that feels familiar and yet endlessly new, where even the simplest moments are imbued with significance. I have come to understand that presence is not merely physical. It is a force, a resonance that affects everything it touches. And when you are near, life itself seems to breathe differently, as if the universe has conspired to pause and witness the miracle of you. Each time I see you, I am reminded of how small gestures can carry immense weight. The way you tilt your head when you are curious, the way you laugh at something only you find funny, the way your eyes linger on details others miss. These moments, fleeting and delicate, are etched into my memory with a clarity that defies time, because they reveal the depth of your being, the layers of who you are, and the extraordinary gift of having you in my life. Your presence is transformative, not in a way that demands attention, but in a way that demands recognition, an awareness that the world is infinitely richer and more vibrant because of you, and that the life I have known before you was only a shadow of the life I now imagine. I've watched you interact with the world with a grace and strength that humbles me, with a compassion that reshapes the hearts of those around you, and with a quiet confidence that inspires me to rise beyond the limitations I have often placed on myself. Every encounter with you is a lesson, a revelation, a reminder that love is not merely a feeling, but a state of being, a choice, a commitment to witness, understand, and honor someone so profoundly that their presence becomes a guiding force in your life. And in your presence, I find the courage to be my truest self, to shed the masks that the world expects me to wear, to embrace vulnerability without hesitation, because the space you create is one of acceptance, understanding, and unconditional support. Life, I have come to see, is a series of moments strung together by the people who shape them. And you, my future wife, shape my moments in ways that I never anticipated, in ways that leave me in awe of the sheer impact of your existence. Your presence turns the mundane into meaningful, the routine into remarkable, and the ordinary into extraordinary. I have felt it in the way a simple glance can quiet my mind, in the way a shared silence can speak volumes, in the way your voice, soft yet certain, can reassure, challenge, and inspire me all at once. There is an intimacy and presence that surpasses words, a connection that cannot be fully explained, a recognition of soul meeting soul that is immediate, profound, and undeniable. I've come to cherish these moments, not because they are dramatic or spectacular, but because they are real, tangible, and profoundly human. And they remind me that love is lived as much in the quiet, unnoticed spaces as it is in declarations and grand gestures. Being with you is a constant reminder that life is not solely about achievements, goals, or the passage of time, but about connection, presence, and the quality of attention we bring to those we care about most. And your presence has taught me how to pay attention, how to be patient, how to listen, how to value nuance, subtlety, and the depth that exists beneath surface appearances. I find myself noticing things I never noticed before, caring about things I never thought mattered, and striving to become a better version of myself because I want to honor not just the love we share, but the extraordinary person you are. In your presence, I have felt safety and exhilaration simultaneously, a paradox that only love can create, where the risk of vulnerability is outweighed by the certainty of belonging, and where the thrill of connection exists alongside the calm of knowing you are home. Your presence is a sanctuary, a guide, a mirror, and a horizon all at once. There are moments when the world feels chaotic, overwhelming, and uncertain. And yet, when I am with you, the noise fades, the distractions lose their power, and clarity emerges. I see the path ahead more clearly, not because it is free of obstacles, but because your presence gives me the courage, the vision, and the resilience to face whatever comes, knowing that love like ours is a force that endures, sustains, and elevates. Your presence is transformative because it demands engagement, honesty, and reflection. It is a reminder that love is active, not passive. It is lived, not merely felt. It is a force that shapes decisions, actions, and the very way one moves through the world. And in being with you, I have discovered a depth of experience, an expansiveness of heart, and a clarity of purpose that I could not have imagined before. I understand now that presence is more than proximity. It is an energy, an influence, a commitment to being fully, intentionally, and authentically connected. And you exemplify this with a grace that leaves me in awe. Every shared moment reinforces the truth that love is not static. It grows, evolves, and deepens as presence is maintained, nurtured, and cherished. And you have taught me the importance of being fully present, of embracing the now, of valuing the fleeting and beautiful intricacies of existence together. Your presence transforms my perspective, reshapes my priorities, and recalibrates my understanding of what is essential, meaningful, and worthy of devotion. It has shown me that the world is not merely a backdrop for life, but a canvas upon which the beauty of connection, the vibrancy of shared experience, and the profundity of love can be painted in strokes both bold and subtle, delicate and enduring. And in every encounter, every shared glance, every unspoken acknowledgement, I am reminded that being with you is not a passive experience. It is a profound journey, a conscious choice, a commitment to embrace all the wonder, uncertainty, and beauty that life offers simply because it can be experienced with you by my side. Your presence makes everything better, more alive, more meaningful, more purposeful. And I recognize that I would face any challenge, endure any hardship, and traverse any distance simply to ensure that I remain in that presence, that I continue to witness, share, and participate in the extraordinary reality of you, the extraordinary force that is your existence, and the extraordinary love that continues to grow and shape my life in ways I could never have predicted, imagined, or fully articulated, but which I feel with every fiber of my being, every breath I take, every thought that rises, because being with you transforms not just my life, but the very way I understand what it means to love, to live, and to risk everything for something that is undeniably, unquestionably worth it. Promises are fragile when spoken lightly, yet when made with the depth of understanding that comes from truly seeing someone, they become an unshakable foundation, a beacon guiding every choice, every step, every breath. My promise to you, my future wife, is not a simple vow wrapped in words, but a commitment embedded in every action, every thought, every heartbeat, and every moment that I am aware of your existence. I promise to face every challenge not as a burden, but as a path that leads me closer to you, as a test of my devotion, a measure of my willingness to stand steadfast regardless of the storms that may come. Life is unpredictable in ways that can test even the strongest resolve. And yet, I have found in you a reason to embrace uncertainty, to confront it without fear, knowing that the path toward you is the path worth walking, even if it is strewn with obstacles, even if it demands sacrifices that weigh heavily on the mind and heart. I promise to honor the person you are fully, without attempting to change, mold, or limit you, because love at its truest is not possession, but reverence, not control, but acknowledgement, not dominance, but partnership. I recognize that to truly love you is to see your autonomy, to celebrate your individuality, to cherish the entirety of who you are, and to stand by you in ways that uplift, protect, and nurture the life you envision for yourself, knowing that our lives intertwine, not as chains, but as harmonious threads weaving a tapestry of shared existence. I promise to be present not merely in the easy moments, but in the challenging ones, when the weight of life presses down, when doubts arise, when the world seems intent on creating distance, confusion, or despair, because love is not proven in comfort, but in courage, resilience, and steadfast presence. I promise to listen, truly listen with an open heart to the whispers of your mind, the subtle cues of your emotions, the quiet revelations that often go unnoticed by those who fail to see beneath the surface. I promise to hold space for your fears, your dreams, your frustrations, and your triumphs alike, and to honor them with the same seriousness and reverence with which I honor my own, knowing that to share a life with someone is to become intimately aware of the totality of their being. And to accept the responsibility and privilege that comes with such intimacy, I promise to celebrate your victories as if they were my own, to grieve your losses with empathy that transcends words, to encourage you when doubt clouds your vision, and to challenge you when complacency tempts the soul, because love is active, dynamic, and unyielding in its devotion. And to love you fully is to engage with every aspect of your existence, to be present for all of it, and to embrace it willingly. I promise to remain vulnerable, to expose the depths of my own heart without fear, knowing that vulnerability is the bridge that allows two souls to meet in authenticity, that it is the conduit through which connection flows, and that to hold back is to deny the fullness of what we can share together. I promise to choose you every day, not because it is convenient, but because it is necessary, not because it is expected, but because it is the undeniable truth of my being, that no matter the circumstances, no matter the temptations, no matter the challenges, I will find my way back to you, and I will continue to choose you as the center of my life, the anchor of my purpose, and the destination of my heart. I promise to embrace the risks inherent in love, to confront the fears that arise from caring deeply, and to walk the line between uncertainty and faith with courage, knowing that the greatest reward, the truest fulfillment, comes not from safety or ease, but from daring to love without reservation, to commit without hesitation, and to risk everything for the one who has become indispensable to the very meaning of my existence. I promise to learn from our shared experiences, to adapt, to grow, to become the partner you deserve, not in fleeting gestures or superficial declarations, but in sustained effort, quiet dedication, and relentless attention to the love we nurture together. I promise to protect the sacred space we create, to honor it against external pressures, internal doubts, and the relentless march of time, because the bond we share is precious, rare, and deserving of vigilant care. And I recognize that to neglect it in any measure would be to deny the extraordinary gift we have found in one another. I promise to keep our love alive through curiosity, playfulness, and exploration, to never take for granted the miracle of connection, to remember that every day with you is a privilege, a chance to deepen understanding, to expand compassion, to build a legacy of intimacy and trust that transcends mere survival and reaches into the realm of profound shared fulfillment. I promise to be patient when impatience tempts me, kind when frustration rises, and present when distraction calls, because I understand that love is sustained through consistent attention, thoughtful action, and unwavering respect, and that the truest measure of devotion is the ability to honor someone not only in grand moments, but in every ordinary, unremarkable, and yet infinitely important aspect of shared life. I promise to dream with you, to envision a future that reflects both our individuality and our unity, to imagine the possibilities not as abstract concepts, but as achievable realities through shared effort, mutual support, and unrelenting commitment. I promise to walk beside you as we navigate life's twists, turns, and uncertainties, holding your hand through darkness and light alike, offering strength when needed, solace when required, and celebration in every victory, small or large. I promise to communicate openly, honestly, and respectfully, to share my thoughts, fears, and hopes with transparency, and to receive yours with patience, empathy, and unwavering attention, because understanding is the foundation of connection, and connection is the essence of love. I promise to never take you for granted, to remember constantly the miraculous alignment of circumstances, timing, and choice that brought us together, and to live in gratitude for the rare gift of your love, which challenges, uplifts, and completes me in ways I cannot fully articulate, but which I feel with absolute certainty. I promise to embrace the totality of our life together, the joys, the sorrows, the triumphs, the setbacks, and the quiet, ordinary moments that, when woven together, form the fabric of a love that is enduring, resilient, and extraordinary. A love for which I would risk everything, sacrifice everything, and dedicate everything, because to love you fully, deeply, and unconditionally is the truest purpose I have ever known. And to be with you is the ultimate expression of who I am, who I aspire to be, and the infinite possibility that life offers when two souls meet and recognize in each other the home, the horizon, and the heart of all that truly matters. Love is not merely a moment or a feeling. It is a journey that asks everything of us: our attention, our courage, our vulnerability, and our willingness to be transformed by another person. And with you, I have discovered that love is not passive. It moves through our life, shaping choices, influencing paths, and creating a world that is richer, fuller, and infinitely more beautiful because you are part of it. I have come to understand that the risks we take for love are never truly measured in physical or material terms, but in the surrender of ego, the courage to face uncertainty, and the dedication to preserve, honor, and nurture a bond that transcends circumstance. Every day I find myself thinking about what it means to truly commit, not as a gesture or a statement, but as a living, breathing practice of devotion. And I realize that to commit to you is to commit to life itself in its most profound, meaningful, and vulnerable form. I have felt the depth of connection that can exist between two people, a connection that speaks without words, that resonates without effort, that transforms the ordinary into something sacred. And I recognize that this connection is the rarest and most precious force in the universe. In your presence, I have learned patience, humility, and grace. I have learned that love is strengthened not in perfection, but in the acceptance of flaws, the embrace of difference, and the courage to face life's uncertainties together. I have imagined countless futures, some bright, some shadowed with doubt. And in each vision, the one constant, the unchanging truth is you. You are the horizon I strive toward, the center that balances the chaos, and the anchor that grounds my heart in the storms of life. And so I promise, not in fleeting words, but in the deepest chambers of my heart, that no fear, no obstacle, no challenge will ever deter me from choosing you, from standing by you, from walking through fire, storm, or shadow, to ensure that our love is honored, sustained, and cherished. I have come to understand that the act of loving fully requires a kind of audacity, a willingness to be seen, to be vulnerable, to risk heartbreak in order to embrace the unparalleled beauty of true connection. And I would take that risk 1,000 times over for you because the joy, the depth, and the meaning you bring to my life are beyond measure, beyond explanation, beyond the limits of what language can capture. I have watched the way you move through the world, the way you care, the way you fight, the way you love, and I am humbled by the extraordinary force that you are, by the gravity of your presence, by the quiet yet undeniable power of your heart. And in recognizing that, I am inspired to match it, to rise to the level of commitment, courage, and devotion that a love like ours deserves, knowing that to falter, to hesitate, or to hold back would be a betrayal not just of you, but of the love that has reshaped my very being. I promise to cherish every laugh, every shared glance, every quiet moment of understanding, knowing that these are the threads that weave the tapestry of our life together, that they are the proof of our bond, the markers of our journey, and the foundation upon which everything else is built. I promise to remain vigilant in my devotion, to protect the sacredness of what we share from the distractions, challenges, and trials of the world, because I recognize that the love we have discovered is rare, precious, and worthy of extraordinary care. I promise to dream with you, to build with you, to imagine futures that are not merely safe or predictable, but expansive, daring, and alive, reflecting the full measure of what is possible when two hearts are aligned in purpose, courage, and unwavering commitment. I promise to continue discovering you, to never cease in learning the depth, nuance, and infinite complexity of your soul, because the act of knowing you, of loving you, is a lifetime journey without end. And I want to walk it fully, courageously, and relentlessly by your side. I promise to embrace vulnerability, to risk fear, to confront uncertainty, and to take every step with courage and conviction, because the reward of being with you, of loving you fully, of sharing a life in which every challenge is met together, is beyond measure. I promise to honor your dreams as if they were my own, to support your ambitions with all the energy I can muster, and to never lose sight of the fact that your happiness, your growth, and your fulfillment are integral to the love that binds us. I promise to stay present, to engage fully, to give wholeheartedly, to act with integrity, compassion, and awareness in every interaction, every conversation, every choice, because to love you is to understand that each moment, each gesture, each decision is an opportunity to honor the depth of what we share. I promise to walk beside you as life unfolds in its unpredictable, beautiful, challenging ways, embracing the risks inherent in love, confronting the fears that accompany it, and celebrating the infinite possibilities it offers, because nothing in this world is more important than the bond we share. And I would risk everything to preserve it, nurture it, and honor it every single day. And in all of this, in every thought, every action, every heartbeat, I am guided by the same truth that has always been clear. You are my center, my anchor, my horizon, my purpose, and my reason for daring to love without restraint, to commit without hesitation, and to risk everything to ensure that I am with you in all the ways that truly matter for all the days of our lives, in a love that is fearless, unwavering, and infinite. There is a clarity that comes when you truly realize what it means to risk everything for love, a clarity that strips away doubt, fear, and hesitation, leaving only the raw, undeniable truth of the heart. I have felt that clarity when I think of you, when I imagine a life without you, and I understand in the deepest part of me that nothing else compares to the gravity of being with you. Every choice I make, every step I take, every breath I draw carries with it the awareness that you are the reason, the purpose, and the anchor of my existence. I have walked through life carrying questions, uncertainties, and the quiet weight of possibility. but the moment I recognize that you are the one I want beside me in every reality, in every future, in every fleeting second, a kind of certainty settled over me. A certainty that love is not something to calculate, to measure, or to hesitate over. It is something to embrace fully without reservation, with courage and audacity because it is rare, precious, and transformative. I have imagined countless paths, some safe, some perilous, and yet every path that matters leads to you. I have asked myself what I am willing to surrender, what I am willing to risk, what I am willing to confront, and every answer has been the same. Everything. Every comfort, every certainty, every expectation, every moment of hesitation, all of it is insignificant compared to the truth of you, the truth of us, and the magnitude of the love I feel. And in this awareness, I find not fear, but a kind of exhilaration, a recognition that to love fully is to live fully, that to risk everything for you is not reckless, but profoundly right, necessary, and inevitable. I have watched the world around me with its distractions, its noise, its relentless march of time, and I have realized that none of it matters in the presence of you, that all of it pales in comparison to the force of what we share, to the gravity of this connection, to the way your existence illuminates every corner of my life, shapes every choice I make, and inspires me to rise to the highest version of myself. I promise in this understanding to face every uncertainty with courage, every challenge with steadfastness, every obstacle with determination, because the love I feel for you demands nothing less, because our bond deserves nothing less, because you are worth every risk, every leap, every surrender of fear, and every act of devotion I can summon. I have felt the power of love in fleeting moments before, but nothing compares to the magnitude of loving you, to the expansiveness I feel, to the infinite patience, humility, and courage it awakens in me. I have imagined life without you, and it is unimaginable, hollow, incomplete, a shadow that cannot hold the light you bring. I have imagined life with you, and it is vivid, radiant, boundless, a journey I would embark upon again and again, regardless of the uncertainty, regardless of the cost, because the reward is you and nothing else matters. I recognize that love is not passive. It is a force, a journey, a decision, and a responsibility. It is tested in silence, strengthened in adversity, and revealed in the quiet moments where words are unnecessary, and yet everything is communicated. And in this love, I find the courage to be vulnerable, to be present, to be unwavering, to be fearless in ways I never knew were possible, simply because the person I love, the person I would risk everything for, is you. I have witnessed the depth of your heart, the resilience of your spirit, and the grace of your presence, and it has inspired me to rise, to expand, to embrace life with a fierceness that matches the depth of my devotion. Because to love you is to commit wholly, to surrender fully, to act with integrity, courage, and relentless dedication, knowing that the path may be difficult, but the destination is incomparable, timeless, and ours. Every heartbeat whispers your name, every thought returns to your presence, every dream is illuminated by the certainty of your love. And in this certainty, I find a peace that is quiet but profound, a joy that is subtle but enduring, and a courage that is unwavering, because it is born not of ego or desire, but of recognition that loving you, choosing you, standing by you, is the single most important and profound act of my existence. And so I move forward into the unknown, into the challenges, into the uncertainties of life, carrying nothing but my love, my devotion, my unwavering commitment, and the knowledge that to be with you, to witness you, to share this journey with you, is the only risk worth taking, the only surrender worth making, the only choice I would ever make again and again, without hesitation, without doubt, without end, because the truth of my heart, The gravity of my soul and the entirety of my being belongs to you, my future wife, and I would risk everything, give everything, and face everything just to be with you. There is a depth to love that cannot be measured, a weightless gravity that pulls at the very center of your being, and I have felt it in every thought of you, in every moment that your presence lingers in my mind. It is a force that shapes my actions, guides my choices, and demands courage I did not know I possessed, because when the heart recognizes what is irreplaceable, it cannot settle for anything less than giving everything it has. I have imagined countless scenarios of worlds in which life is simpler, easier, safer, but none of them hold the same truth as the reality that includes you, that requires me to step fully into the unknown, to embrace vulnerability, to walk unflinchingly into challenges, and to risk everything for the one who is the center of my life. To love you is to confront fear daily, to face uncertainty willingly, to surrender the comfort of certainty for the possibility of something extraordinary, something unparalleled, something worth every ounce of courage. I have felt the quiet power of your presence, the way it shifts the air, alters the energy, transforms ordinary moments into sacred ones, and I realize that this is not just attraction or admiration, but a recognition of the rare and profound force that you are, a force that demands devotion, attention, and action in ways that are both exhilarating and humbling. I promise to honor that force with every choice I make, every risk I take, every path I walk, because to witness your existence, to share in your journey, is a privilege that exceeds all else. I have known love in fragments before, but nothing compares to the completeness I feel in the knowledge that I am aligned with you, that my heart recognizes yours as its counterpart, its compass,